𝐼𝐵𝐰 stands before a large golden scale, on which the jackal-headed god Anubis weighs his heart against a pure ostrich feather. 𝐼𝐵𝐰 was a real person, a scribe from the Egyptian city of Thebes during the 13th century BCE. This is a scene from his Book of the Dead, a 78-foot papyrus scroll intended to help him achieve immortality. Such funerary texts were originally written only for pharaohs, but over time, the Egyptians came to believe that regular people could also reach the afterlife if they completed the passage. 𝐼𝐵𝐰's epic journey begins when he dies. His body is mummified by a team of priests who remove all organs except the heart, which houses emotion, memory, and intelligence. It is then stuffed with a salt known as nitron and wrapped in resin-soaked linen. Furthermore, the wrappings are woven with protective charms and topped with a heart scarab amulet, which will be useful later on. The 2-month process aims to keep 𝐼𝐵𝐰's body in the best possible condition so that his spirit can eventually reunite with it. But first, the spirit must travel through the duat, or underworld. This is a realm of vast caverns, lakes of fire, and magical gates, all guarded by fearsome beasts, snakes, crocodiles, and half-human monstrosities known as He Who Dances in Blood. To make matters worse, 𝐴𝐵𝐵, the serpent god of destruction, lurks in the shadows, ready to devour 𝐼𝐵𝐰's soul. Fortunately, 𝐼𝐵𝐰 is prepared with the magic found in his Book of the Dead, and like other Egyptians who could afford it, customized his scroll with the spells, prayers, and codes he believed his spirit would require. With this arsenal, our hero overcomes the obstacles, repels the monster's attacks, and sneaks past 𝐴𝐵𝐵 to reach the Hall of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. 𝐼𝐵𝐰 now faces his final challenge. He is judged by 42 assessor gods who must be persuaded that he has lived a good life. 𝐼𝐵𝐰 approaches each one, addressing them by name and confessing a sin he did not commit. Among these negative confessions, or declarations of innocence, he claims that he hasn't made anyone cry, isn't an eavesdropper, and hasn't contaminated the water. But did 𝐼𝐵𝐰 have such a perfect life? Not exactly, but that's where the heart scarab amulet comes in. It is inscribed with the words, "Do not stand as a witness against me," to ensure that 𝐼𝐵𝐰's heart does not betray him by recalling the time he listened to his neighbors fight or washed his feet in the Nile. 𝐼𝐵𝐰's moment of truth has arrived, the weighing of her heart. If his heart is heavier than a feather due to 𝐼𝐵𝐰's wrongdoings, it will be devoured by the monstrous Ammit, who is part crocodile, leopard, and hippopotamus, and 𝐼𝐵𝐰 will cease to exist forever. But 𝐼𝐵𝐰 is lucky. His heart is considered pure. Ra, the sun god, transports him to Osiris, the god of the underworld, who grants him final approval to enter the afterlife. 𝐼𝐵𝐰 meets his deceased parents in an endless and lush reed field. There is no sadness, pain, or anger here. However, there is work to be done. 𝐼𝐵𝐰, like everyone else, must cultivate a plot of land, which he accomplishes with the assistance of a Shabti doll placed in his grave. The papyrus of 𝐼𝐵𝐰 is currently housed in the British Museum, where it has been since 1888. Only 𝐼𝐵𝐰, if anyone, knows what happened following his death. However, thanks to his Book of the Dead, we can imagine him happily tending his crops in eternity.